Welcome back to another episode of Small Town Hauntings. I'm your co-host, Nancy, and this is Bella.
I'm your host.
Yeah. And today we'll be talking about another local haunt, Texas Road, the infamous Texas Road, where the dead still walk and drive, apparently, right? It's like, because it is a road.
And haunt, do all that stuff.
Right?
All the good stuff. Yeah.
So Texas Road to some is just a quiet back road between Amherstburg and the countryside. But if you know the land, it's anything but quiet. This road has seen centuries of trauma. We're talking First Nations land, the War of 1812, unmarked settler graves, and stops along the Underground Railroad. Layer that with tragedy, lost lovers, lynchings, violent deaths, and you've got more than just ghost stories. You've got spiritual residue soaked into the dirt.
Yeah. Plus, there is a graveyard there as well.
Yeah, there is. That you can't go into, right? Isn't it? Like
no, you can go in there because it is part of a church. But I mean, you shouldn't respectfully go ghost hunting in a cemetery. But it's very beautiful in its own way, and it's old. But yeah. So let's get into the good of it.
Turns good.
Well, we're gonna, we always do the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're gonna do the good, which is the restless but gentle. So we're gonna be talking the Ghost Bride of Texas Road. Now she's been called many different things. She's just like Lady in White, Ghost Bride.
Lady in White. I've never heard her as the Ghost Bride.
Yeah, if you look back at some of the things, it's also called Ghost Bride. So she's the most famous ghost in Amherstburg. People say she's still walking, or to her wedding. Which who would walk to a wedding?
Well, if it's 1800, if you don't have a coach and horse.
Even though it never really happened. That's the other thing. Some of these things are not true. So the lore is a young bride-to-be was killed near the old Texas Road Bridge. Some say she was thrown from her horse. Others say she was run down by her own fiancé. The visuals is a woman in a long white dress appears in headlights drifting across the road only to vanish.
Man, I'm a bad enough driver as it is.
I know. We don't want that.
If I start seeing
ladies just coming out. So this is a true account. This is from a lady named Jill. She was an Amherstburg resident. We were driving back from a bonfire and my daughter screamed. This woman was just standing on the edge of the road near the trees. Pale, in a gown. We turned the car around. She was gone. But the weirdest thing is the back of my neck was freezing cold for the rest of the night. So I'd be screaming too if I saw a full body ghost in the middle of the road. Yeah. But there was another sighting of it not too long ago. It was a nurse that was she was driving home to work, and actually it made the papers. She was in the early mornings, of course, she was on her way to work, and she saw a lady in white crawling out of the ditch.
Wow.
Yeah. And so she couldn't stop because it was so quick, so she ended up calling the police. The police came out, didn't see anybody. This was like probably around quarter to 4.
Why couldn't she stop?
I think because she already had passed and it was like traffic or whatever it was. Okay. So she didn't have enough time. Well, she didn't have enough time to stop. So she, I don't know if she turned around and didn't see anything. So she ended up calling the police. Anyways,
right, okay.
Police came, inspected. There was nothing there. So it's kind of a weird thing. My husband has seen a lady in white because myself, we had talked about going out to the Texas Road a while back. And all of a sudden, my husband said he saw a lady in white walking down the street in front of our house towards the thing. And Here, yeah. Oh. Well, yeah, they can go wherever they want. And he said that the way she was walking, it was like her head was kind of tilted, and she was like walking very like slow and like dragging. He nearly called out to her, but he he stopped himself, and he goes, because she just didn't look
Right.
right. And then when I came home, he said, did you not see the lady on the street? Because there was nobody else on the street.
Okay.
Like nothing.
Well, it's a pretty quiet street, too.
Yeah, there was no one else on the street. And so when I turned a corner, it was literally 2 minutes later. He says, did you see that weird lady walking down the street? And I said, no. He goes, you couldn't have missed her. She was all in white. And he goes, she was walking towards you. Like you would have saw her crossing anywhere. And
Probably
I said,
not the Texas Road ghost, though.
well, why wouldn't it be?
I guess. She's making her rounds.
Yeah. Well, it's just a coincidence that I was talking about visiting there and all of a sudden she pops up.
True enough.
Because she came out of nowhere. He said that when he pulled into our driveway first, right? And he said he saw her in our rearview mirror, like the rearview mirror. He looked up and he saw someone crossing our driveway.
Right.
Which is pretty dark where we're at.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know where she came from. Because when we pulled into the driveway, he goes, I didn't see her on the sidewalk coming towards me. He goes, I just saw her already crossing the back of my vehicle. He goes, in the driveway. So then he gets out of the car and he said, it looked like something was wrong with her. So he called out to her. He was going to call out to her. He was going to say, hey, I think he actually did say, are you okay? And she never responded and kept walking. And he said the way she was walking, he's like, the only way I could describe it was it looked like the dead, the Walking Dead.
Right.
Like he goes, his head
stiff movement.
like tilted to the side and kind of like not really moving and not really saying anything to anybody. And then he said it kind of scared him a little bit. And so he just...
That would scare me more than a little bit.
But she seemed very real to him. And so he just went and he came in the house and literally, because he was on, and then he called me and he's like, are you coming in? And I said, yeah, I'm already down our street. And so he waited until I pulled in. And then that's when he said, he was still outside when I pulled in. That's how quick it happened. And he's like, did you see that lady? I said, what lady? No, there was no lady. And he's like, yeah, there was a lady. He goes, right here. I saw her in my rearview mirror. And I'm like, did you see what she looked like? He goes, no, she had no face. Like he couldn't see her face. Could only see the back of her. He could describe her to a T from the back. But yeah, it was a really crazy encounter. The only thing that linked it was I had been talking with somebody else about going out to Texas Road to do an investigation there. And this is what, all of a sudden, she just kind of popped up.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, and the other thing that people usually tend to see is the dancing. They call it dancing lights, night lights. Dancing lights. Local call them the fairy lights, but they feel older, like earth energy or watchers. So what people see is our glowing amber, green or blue in the forest area north of Texas Road. They hover midair and vanish when approached. Often appear in clusters. Some say around the old tree lines. So, and this is a true encounter. It's from John, and he's a night photographer. He said that I thought they were lighting bugs.
Yeah.
But they moved too fast, too synchronized. I felt like they were watching me. I snapped a photo, but it came out black. No light at all, just static.
Oh.
So it's, and there are stuff that's called they're called nature spirits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there is something called nature spirits, which is pretty
And that's
much
how they manifest themselves?
Yeah.
Like dancing lights?
Yeah, you'll see them as dancing lights, but they're actually are a spirit. So, that's how usually you kind of
See, I would have thought lightning bugs myself.
Yeah, mostly the thing, but the fact that they're moving synchronicity.
That would be weird. Yeah, actually dancing.
Yeah. Unless they're into synchronized swimming.
Could be. Yeah, I'm getting a vision of SNL and Martin Short
going down. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh geez. Well, let's get into the bad. I don't know how much bad it could get. Apparently, there's another one where it's a phantom hitchhiker, and never pick up hitchhikers. My dad used to do that.
Back in the day, in the 70s.
Back in the day, he always did. I remember in the back of the car with my dad. The guy would be
some random guy,
and he would just pick him up.
Yeah.
And
bum a cigarette.
Do never do that now, though. Please. So this one is people have seen. This is like lore, so we don't know if this is true or not. But it's a man in period clothing, sometimes Civil War era. So again, maybe thinking of Amherstburg, Fort Malden.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a tattered coat is seen thumbing for rides. Damn, yeah, no. If you stop, he may get in, but he doesn't speak. Vanishes before the car reaches the end of the road. What the hell? Like, I know, I'd be like, dude, I know my driving's bad, but holy crap.
He's like, I'm out. How about?
He's driving all of a sudden. So how's your, whoa, he's already gone.
I'm like, I could have swore I picked somebody up.
I know, in a tattered. First of all, as a woman, would you pick up a dude like in a tattered coat? He looks all disheveled. I wouldn't.
Well, Marcy did.
yeah. Okay. Well, here's a true encounter from a woman who's a lot braver than me.
Yeah,
Maybe
I would.
It says Marcy was 55. Maybe at that age you just don't give a shit.
You're premenopause. You don't care.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like, bring it on.
You're a menopausal woman. You ain't messing with the. Go ahead and try to mess with
At menopause, you're like, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Bring it on.
So this is,
Hit me with your best shot.
So this is Marcy's encounter. I picked up a man around midnight. 10. Like after my shift. He looked exhausted, like he'd been walking for hours. I asked where he was going. He said nothing. When I got to the main intersection, I turned to ask again, and the seat was empty. I pulled over and threw up. I'm pretty sure she's ending her shift at a bar and she'd be drunk. Who the hell just picks up?
Well, she wouldn't be driving. Drunk driving?
How do we know?
I still
won't drive that road at night. I don't know why she did in the first place. Like, to be honest with you.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was cute. I don't know.
She threw up. I don't know. She threw up. Well, first of all, you're a woman. You're 55, so yeah, you're menopausal.
You don't make good decisions at that point.
It's after midnight. Oh, let's pick up this random dude that looks completely disheveled.
He looked tired. She said he looked tired.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know. They said that he looks like he's from a period clothing. So
yeah.
Why
would you pick up this dude? Is he carrying a
musket?
musket?
I wonder what kind of clothing he's wearing. Unless he's decided to change it to more modern day attire.
I don't know.
Like put on some Doc Martens and stuff.
But he said he looked exhausted. Like he's walking for hours. Like
I myself would not pick someone else. I don't care how tired they look. I'd be like, I'll call you an Uber.
No, yeah. If I saw somebody that looked, distressed, I would call the police.
I would pull over and ask them. Yeah. But I mean, again, he doesn't speak.
That's true.
He just gets in the car. Can you imagine? You pull over. Sir, are you okay? All of a sudden he's there.
Yeah, do you actually see him open the door? I mean, obviously, if somebody is in distress, you want to get out of the car. But in this day and age, man, at midnight, on top of that, it's not like it's the broad daylight. It's not like it's 2 p.m.
It's just like, she's like,
the whole story just sounds...
She looks over and he's not there.
Just like, I don't have energy for you today, lady.
I would for sure. I mean, any other time I'd be like the holy water.
Spray bottles.
Yes, for sure.
I don't know if I would have thrown up. That's a weird thing to me.
Yes,
that's
not your experience.
No, I have had driving home at night, because I would get off work sometimes at 9, 10 at night, so it'd be dark.
Yeah.
And I haven't had an experience driving down the main road, and I swear I saw it was a man. I could describe.
It was probably him.
Oh, he didn't look. You know what? He didn't look disheveled, and he wasn't thumbing for a ride. But he was wearing like darker clothing, darker hair. He was coming towards me like running, like he was trying to get my attention.
It's probably him.
Maybe. But then what happened was he literally went through my vehicle.
It's him.
And then he wasn't there anymore. But it wasn't Texas Road.
Where were you?
I was in McGregor though, near.
It's him.
It might have been.
It's him, dude. You ran in. Yeah, are you Marcy?
No. Because did I pick up the dude? No. I remember he was running towards me, and I was ready to hit the brakes because he was actually going to go hit my car.
Well,
he was running from like the ditch side.
That's him.
It might have been, honestly, but all of a sudden he literally went through my vehicle. Like, and then I looked around, and I'm like, okay, I didn't hit anything.
Did he say hi when he went through?
No, he didn't speak.
Yo.
And when I looked behind me, he wasn't there. But I legit saw him like holding his hands like this. He wasn't thumbing. He was literally trying to get me to stop.
There you go.
I guess. I never really thought about it. That happened about 10 years ago.
Because, I mean, if you would have stopped and you would have gone in your car.
No.
And then you would have thrown up because he would have disappeared.
I wouldn't have thrown up. I may have freaked out. And not be able to drive the rest of the way home.
Well, you just ran over the guy.
You know what? I forgot about that story. I never even thought about it. Yeah, he was.
Well, that's
he
the
wasn't
reason.
Thumbing. He was literally like trying to get me to stop, and I would not stop.
I mean, that may be. Of course, you didn't.
I didn't stop.
You do not stop ever.
It was night. Again, it was at night.
Nancy's famous word is either him or me.
It was at night. I was hitting the brakes to stop.
Even if it's broad daylight, you still wouldn't stop.
Is it for me? No, broad daylight. If somebody was like trying to flag
This
me
man
down.
is flagging you down because he's in distress,
Yes,
and you're like, nope. You hit the gas.
No, I hit the brakes, but then he came through he just disappeared through the car.
So he kept running towards that?
Yes, he kept running towards my car.
That didn't freak you out?
Well, yes, it did. Because then I stopped the car and I looked behind me and I didn't see anybody. So then I realized, I'm either losing my mind because I wasn't drinking. I was coming home from work. I was not inebriated.
What time was this?
Like 10 o'clock at night. It was later
okay.
at night, yeah. Because I was coming home from work. I used to work later.
Yeah. You just ran into this guy.
I might have.
So you are serious proof.
He wasn't thumbing. He was literally
And that might be how some
going
people,
like this.
Yeah, that makes sense. He was waving you down.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Yeah, there you go. So you might as well add in.
Nancy.
Nancy
40,
is the net. So
48.
yeah, Nancy 48, right underneath Marcy.
Would not stop.
Yeah, Nancy, the exact opposite. Did not stop and poke up the man, even though he was running at full force toward her car, going, "Please help me."
He really was, but that's the thing. That's why I knew he wasn't really real, because he was coming towards me flashing, but he looked partly disembodied. So I was creeped out. So I was gonna I hit the brakes.
What was he wearing?
Like I just remember dark shirt and like jeans. It was more modern clothing. It didn't look tattered or nothing. So, but other people have different.
Yeah, everybody's
And it
different.
happened so fast. It literally happened in like 5 seconds. Like legit. And this was about 10 years ago. So I wouldn't have been perimenopausal yet. So I'm not going to believe
She would have
on
been
that.
angry.
No.
So there's no use for you. There's no reason why she shouldn't have stopped.
Well, no, I was going to stop, but he was literally running towards my vehicle. I was going to hit him. And so as I stopped, he just ran through the vehicle.
He was just like, this bitch ain't stopping for me. I'm gonna keep going.
And then when I hit the brakes to stop, I looked behind me and there was nobody there. Not nobody. I know I didn't hit anything.
You killed the ghost.
No, I don't think that was possible.
All right.
Okay. Ooh.
So Nancy saw the man.
Apparently. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was in that sort of vicinity.
Yeah.
Because it would have been.
It's all in that.
Backroad
Yeah.
Road is along Texas.
Yeah.
Texas Road is
Yeah.
So there you go.
I've seen the lady in white. This one.
I saw the the hitchhiker.
The hitchhiker. Now let's look at the next one and see if you've seen that one too.
Let's see. This is the angry.
Yeah. That's you.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry. The angry spirits of disturbed land. So spirits don't like being forgotten. And this land has been torn up more times than anyone cared to document. Wow. Mm-hmm. Historic indigenous trail, settler homesteads, and reportedly burial site near the old bridge. Developers unknowingly paved over spiritual ground. Oh yeah, you're done when you mess with the spiritual grounds.
Yeah.
Reports of moaning, dragging chains, flickering lights in basements nearby. So here's a true encounter from Lucas, former local construction worker. We were digging for a drainage line when we hit old bone.
Wow.
The next day, one of the crew broke his leg. Another heard his name whispered from a tree line. I quit that job by the end of the week.
He was like, I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah.
This one broke his leg. The other was like, Roger.
But see, dude, I've said it and I say it again, man. This is why ghosts get mad. You mess up with their sacred land. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't care about your bridges and your new developments.
Yeah, but the problem is it's the workers that are there. They don't know. It's the developers that do it,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So they're just working. But yeah.
But I get it.
Oh, man. Yeah, you don't want to mess with that.
Broke his leg the next day.
So that was the bad. We're going to get into the ugly. So
It gets worse.
Yeah, it gets worse. So you'll know it when you see it. It's okay. This is a screaming tree that they're talking about. You'll know it when you see it. It looks wrong, like the forest grew around it, around something it didn't want. It's a misshapen black tree along the curve on the Texas road. Locals avoid it. It's known for emitting screams. Some say from the inside of the bark. which
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, me neither. I've never familiar. Legend claims it was used for punishment, possibly hangings or settler executions. So this is a true encounter by Alex, who is a paranormal investigator. We recorded near the tree around 2 a.m., caught a high-pitched scream on audio, but none of us heard it in real time. The camera battery, which is always...
That happens a
Yeah,
lot,
camera battery drained instantly. When I touched the bark, I felt like I was being watched from inside the tree.
Ooh.
And so that... I have heard about inside... And I think the tree's actually inside the actual graveyard.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think so. Because there's been a couple different people where it's like they've had different things where it's like they'll go. They used to. There was a story where somebody was crossing. They used to use a shortcut to go from one area to the next through the graveyard, and him and his friend were walking, and it had snowed, fresh snow down, and he was walking, and it was supposed to be just 2 sets of footprints, and when they got to this one thing, they turned around and there was actually another set of footprints next to them.
Oh yeah, that would freak me out.
Yeah, so they never walked through the graveyard. They said, but yeah, so that's one of the things, but it's like in that graveyard, it's got a couple different things that are happening. So, and this is another one where I've read about as well. These things are the vanishing road and time slips. This is where things get quantum. Reports of people driving for hours and ending up back where they started.
Wow.
Time loss, watches stop, clocks go backwards, GPS glitches out. Feeling of entering another realm, silence becomes overwhelming. So this is a true encounter from Danny. He's 32 and he's a delivery driver. I was on a night shift and took Texas as a shortcut. My phone clock went from 11:48 p.m. to 1:09 a.m. instantly. I hadn't even turned off the road. When I got home, I checked my dash cam. It was just static for 20 minutes. That's all I saw. 20 minutes, nothing. So I do know that, I don't know, but I've heard about, there was people that were doing like some kind of, not a ghost hunt, but like a
Paranormal investigation?
No, it wasn't it was like scavenger hunt.
Oh, okay.
And the actual graveyard was part of it because there was different things to go look for, different headstones and things like that. And there was a woman that went in there, and she, in her thing, she was only in there 10 minutes. She went in, she found a couple of the graves, she started looking, she went, blah, blah, blah. When she finally came out, she had been actually missing for 3 hours, something like 2 to 3 hours.
Like a quantum leap.
Yeah, they think that she had gone into some type of portal that just kind of like, to her, she was only gone for like 10 minutes. Because when she came out, her husband and the group that she was waiting had already called the police because they couldn't find her. She went into the graveyard to go look for something and did not come out. They couldn't find her for 3 hours.
Wow.
So they were trying to figure out where she went, and she was like, I was in there. So she took a picture of whatever she needed to take a picture or whatever it was looking around at different graves. And so she must have, she thinks she stumbled into some kind of like portal or whatever and went to something else. And then finally, came back without even knowing.
Or did she actually jump to another time but still in the graveyard?
They think it was a portal of some sort. I don't know. I don't know. I have never experienced it.
But she doesn't realize she left anywhere. That's the
no,
odd
because
part,
it doesn't look anything different. It looks exactly the same. She was just looking out everything. All I know is that her family, the group that she was with and her family and stuff, they waited a little bit and then they went back in. They were looking for her, couldn't find her anywhere. Finally, like an hour has gone by, 2 hours, and then they called the police. They were like searching for her and stuff, and then finally she came out, and she was just like, "No, I've been gone for like 10 minutes."
Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and they were like, "You've been gone for almost 3 hours," and she does remember going in. It was light, and then she comes out and it's like complete darkness. So it was kind of a weird thing.
That is a weird encounter.
So so I've heard more than once that there is a portal there somewhere on the property in the graveyard, and it depending on if you hit it the right way, you'll go into a different dimension.
It's just odd that you go through a portal, you think you'd end up someplace else, like you're in the same spot and you don't realize you've been gone for 3 hours.
No,
That's what's odd to me.
Well,
It's a
that's
kind
the
of
way portals
quantum
work.
Quantum loop.
You go into a different portal. I mean, things. A lot of times when you're going into a different portal, things may look exactly the same, except
I think
you don't know.
I think the part that I don't get is that she didn't realize that she was gone for 3 hours.
She wouldn't. You wouldn't, because everything looks the same to you. You're just looking around and you're taking. I mean, I think if she would have probably tried to step out somewhere else, she probably would have seen things a little bit differently.
I don't know.
But when you're so focused on something, you miss it. People tend to miss things all the time. You're so focused on something, on what you're doing, that you don't realize what's happening around you.
Yeah, I guess.
You're so focused on it. Like, it's not like somebody, she went through and there was a sign, "Welcome to the new portal." Right? Sometimes people are just oblivious of things that are happening.
True.
Right?
I mean, you see that a lot with people on their phones.
Oh, not even just on your phone.
Sucked into
This is this is a little off topic. It's not a little topic. This is the best thing. People, Henry Cavill, who plays Superman,
right?
He was talking. They were like making fun of him because Superman, literally, it's like you just put his glasses on and you take his glasses off.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, I don't recognize you.
Right.
So they were making fun of it, and he said, and Henry Cavill actually tried to settle this, and he was like, "This is the thing: is people, if they're not, first of all, they're not aware of it, or it's got to be in their face for them to even pay attention." So he went to Times Square, which is a busy place. And there was a huge sign of Superman with him on the poster.
Okay.
And he stood underneath it. And no one noticed it was him. Then he went over to like another thing in Times Square again. And his friend took a picture of him. And he was like standing, wearing the glasses, next to the poster of Superman wearing the glasses of himself.
Right.
Not one person noticed it was him. He goes, people just don't notice. He goes, in fact, what happened was somebody walked up to him and asked him for directions.
No.
No one said, "Hey, wait a minute. Are you Superman? Like, are you the same guy?"
You know
no.
what?
And he was wearing a Superman shirt.
Oh, well, that's pretty bad.
There's just a picture of him like this. You could actually find it.
But I mean, we've been to New York and we've walked Times Square, and it is busy. And I do have to say that's one of the places where I felt like you could be walking among thousands of people, but nobody's connected. I find,
and that's what he's saying. He's like, so the whole,
like, I can be killed there and nobody would notice.
But his point was the fact that you can't notice that nobody's gonna, oh really? Everybody's gonna notice that you're Superman because, of course, the glasses is a very light disguise. And he's like, no, not really, because I had no glasses on, I had a Superman t-shirt on, I stood underneath this huge poster that said Henry Cavill, Superman. And he's like, and I'm standing there and people are walking by and looking at him and just like, and not one person. Wow. So he's like, people, if they are just like, they got these blinders on and they're not, unless you're in their face and go over and say, "Hey, I am Superman," people are not going to notice. So it's the same thing. Like if you're walking through a portal.
You only see what you want to see. You don't really,
people I'm sure walk through portals all the time.
I guess.
Because I don't know how many times, I've had it where a couple times where it's like I'm doing something and then all of a sudden I think it's 12 o'clock and then all of a sudden I look and it's now 5 o'clock and I'm like.
And I have the opposite thing at work. Look at the clock.
Well, when you're at work, everything takes forever.
Yeah, I was literally there yesterday.
You went into portal backwards.
Yeah, because yesterday at work I was like, oh, it's 2 o'clock. I swear to God, an hour and a half passed by. Oh, it's only 2:05. Like,
that could be a portal too. You just went back in time.
Oh, Lord.
You just keep reliving. It's Groundhog's Day. You just keep reliving it.
It's Groundhog's Day. There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a lesson for all of us. We need to be more present.
Yeah. Exactly. So those are our final thoughts.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So if what is it with the sorry, if anybody has ever driven Texas Road, or if you've seen lights or picked up a ghost hitchhiker, which I can proudly say I refuse.
Nancy and Marcy both.
Yeah, refuse. Please send us your stories to our haunted mail at smalltownhauntings@outlook.com. We also have our Facebook page, also called Small Town Hauntings. We're pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
So if you have any stories, then we'll share it with people on the show and let us know if you can use your name, and we'll embarrass you too. If you also are a woman who just pick up random hitchhikers at midnight.
And if you send in your ticket, if you send in your stories, you'll actually get put into a draw to get tickets for my show that's coming up at the Chrysler Theater October 17th.
of 2025.
Of 2025.
Of this year. Depending on when you're watching.
So send in your entries, send in your stories, and we'll
put you in a draw.
Yeah, we'll put you in a draw, and if we draw your name, you get 2 free tickets.
Oh, that'd be exciting.
Yeah, that'd be exciting. You get to see me do my thing.
And you might even get a reading.
You might even get a reading.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for tuning in to Small Town Hauntings, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.